anti-inflammatory, Maoris started using it to relieve arthritis. But it's only recently that scientists have applied it to asthma. They don't say it's a cure, but in 50% of cases it does reduce the need for other medicines, including SAMs.
My husband Tim especially, he thought it was really good and said to me after a couple of months, I think that's the best thing you've ever taken.
Just don't ask her how they get the magic ingredient out of them.
I don't know the scientific side behind it, but maybe it's best you don't know.
Tonight, the new pill that's having amazing results with chronic asthma and arthritis sufferers.
I think it's great because it really worked.
If you believe in medical miracles, this story will convince you some people are almost angels when it comes to caring for the sick and elderly.
Over my career, I've been hospitalised about 19 or 20 times. Yeah, shortness of breath and the wheezing, it's a horrible feeling. Yeah, not something that you want to go through.
Swimming saved Sam Riley from asthma, but when the champion breaststroker retired 2 years ago, she was once again struggling to breathe.
Well, basically when I stopped swimming, my asthma really went downhill and I was pretty much taking all of this twice a day.
A cocktail of all this?
Yeah, a bit of a cocktail of drugs.
Pittman lucky to make the final after having an asthma attack during her qualifying rounds.
Sam Riley isn't the only athlete struggling for air. Teenage hurdler Jana Pittman almost failed to qualify for the Manchester Games because of asthma.
I was on a lot of puffers. I was always in and out of, during winter periods, in and out of hospital and things like that. And, you know, you can have a really great day and train well, and then it can come down the next day, and just because you can't breathe, you can't train well.
Remarkably, help for Jana and Sam Riley came from a quiet corner of New Zealand, where green lip mussels are harvested and made into Lyprinol, a tablet sold as an anti-inflammatory for arthritis sufferers.
I started on the Lyprinol in November last year, and since then I've been able to just cut back to the Lyprinol, my Ventolin and one preventative.
So would you say it's halved the amount of medication you're taking?
Easily halved, yeah. Probably more.
More than halved. That must be a relief.
It is actually, because you know, it's not nice to have to rely on that medication so much.
I'm really confident about going into Commonwealth Games that Lyprinol's behind me, and that hopefully, with their help, that, you know, there will be no problems in the final race and we can come back with good results.
You've kept a diary?
I've kept a diary, yes.
The link between Lyprinol and relieving asthma was discovered by accident when people like Regina Casey started using it for their arthritis. Also a chronic asthma sufferer, Regina started keeping a diary 4 years ago.
The 11th, no breathing problems, so ceased Pulmicort.
So less than 2 weeks later you were able to stop using that drug?
Yes, yes.
How surprised were you by that?
Very surprised.
Regina became a case study and similar experiences overseas were also recorded.
Over the last 4 years, only a few severe attacks.
And how does that compare with the time before you were taking Lyprinol?
Much improved.
So it was something of a lifesaver?
Definitely, yeah, a real lifesaver.
We don't know precisely how it works, but we do have quite a lot of information that's been developed over the years.
Professor Robert Boland was one of the first scientists to make the connection between Lyprinol and asthma relief.
We have studies which show that it improves the condition of patients with rheumatoid arthritis, improves the condition of patients with asthma, and so on.
I think it's great because for most of my life I've been on a lot of steroidal medication, and it's nice to be able to supplement that with something that's natural.
While Sam Riley admits the company marketing Lyprinol approached her to try it, Sam says she was sceptical, but the thought that Lyprinol has no known side effects was enough to convince her.
They explained that it was a natural anti-inflammatory and that it worked very well for arthritis, and they'd had some success with asthmatics as well. So, yeah, I thought there was no harm in trying it, and as I said, it really worked.
There's no question that it helps. There's very reasonable evidence on that. What we don't know is how much it helps and in what sort of asthma. The trials to date, there was a trial in St. Petersburg in Russia which was in mild asthmatics, which showed quite significant benefit, but it's never been tested in more severe asthmatics.
Professor Charles Mitchell speaks for the Asthma Foundation. A respiratory specialist, he's now doing the first Australian trials on Lyprinol.
If this drug is at least moderately effective and has a very low side effect profile, then that's got to be good for people with asthma.
So at this stage, would it be fair to say that you're cautiously optimistic?
I'm cautious.
While it will be 6 months before Professor Mitchell completes his study, many sufferers have already got the results they want.
It has really, really honestly worried me that I could get to Commonwealth Games with all the change of environmental sort of things, that my lungs could have a reaction to the allergies in the air, and to think that possibly this would, even cut out 50% of that chance is something that sort of gives me a lot of confidence going into the Games.
I think obviously 100% of people won't get a success rate out of this, but I think it's definitely worth giving a try and giving it a couple of months to see if you've improved or not.
Well, obviously that was our asthma pill story. The gremlins seem to have got us tonight. But Professor Mitchell is looking for more asthma sufferers to take part in his Lyprinol trials. So if you're interested, you can call the PA Hospital on 3240 7100.